is an interesting bot. Stinger, designed by 3 engineers. They know what they're doing. There's 2 separate receivers in here which work from the same transmitter, which apparently can make things a little twitchy in the proceedings, which will be interesting. What happens is these spin around very fast, and when they break, that's when the axe just gets flung over. And if they put it into reverse, that's when we see robot rehab.
From Lincoln, seed number 30, Stinger.
A spinning, whirling dervish with a narrow axe weapon at the back of the steel shell, mobilised on customised motorbike wheels, and the top speed of 18 miles an hour means the Stinger goes like a missile. But goodness me, the missile controls went all wrong in the last series. They simply couldn't control Stinger. And after 50 seconds only of its battle against Mace, whoops, and out they went.
Hello, this is the Stinger team. On my left, I've got Carl Skinner with the software. On my right, Tim Mann with the electronics, and I'm Kevin Scott, the team captain. All the workings are inside these domed wheels here, which drive round, and when we stop, we lift the tail.
If you remember Stinger from last battle, we had the pizza cutter weapon. This year, we've replaced it with a better weapon.
Do you think that's big enough to get kill a lot?
Roboteers, stand by.
From Walsall, Bulldog Breed 2, Tony Bond's the driver, Tony Summerfield's the mechanic, and there's little Robert Summerfield, the weapons operator, Spikasaurus, Stuart Pearson in the controls. Used to build bombs when he was a young man, goodness me, and Stinger with the 3 engineers.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Not only did Stuart Pearson build bombs, but also detonators at a young age. Spikasaurus just rolled over by Bulldog Breed. Roll over for a tickle on the tongue, got straight up, which is good to see. Stinger with the great axe on the back, slamming down like a mighty pendulum. They say it's better than the pizza cutter. Well, boys, we didn't see the pizza cutter last time round. You were in the pit too quickly. Spikasaurus going good mobility, up to 17 miles an hour. And on the right-hand side, Bulldog Breed 2 on the left with the front flipper. Bang, bang, bang goes Stinger. On the reader floor, hey! The hoppity-hop for Stinger. All the controls, by the way, the motors, the power electronics, are mounted in the wheel. Spikasaurus bounces down, a little bit lucky. Stinger flies around. Does a bit of a wheelie and a spin. Bulldog Breed, a lot more cursory in its approach. More pensive, taking on Spikasaurus and rolling it. Shunt came out briefly. Spikasaurus back. Stinger. Stinger up on one side. It's mad, isn't it, Stinger? Look at this. He doesn't care, Stinger. Bulldog Breed flew it up in the air. Comes back down. You're supposed to attack the other robots, the house robots, not the arena floor with the weapon. Who's in control of that Stinger weapon? Who's driving it? Is there anyone there at home? Meanwhile, Spikasaurus is locked onto the arena wall. We saw that. Comes out now flying. Stinger revolves madly. Great value. In comes Bulldog Breed 2 with a little flick underneath Spikasaurus again. This is very close, you know. Stinger's doing its own thing out there. Like the loony who dances by himself in the disco on a Friday night. You've all seen them. You've all been there. Well, I have. I know. That's another point, though. This is shunting on Spikasaurus. A Bulldog Breed slams Spikasaurus almost back into the CPZ now. Shunt came out very, very hungrily and says, Bulldog, you're mine. Come on. Oh, hey, Stinger in on the attack again. Bulldog Breed 2's lifting ramp seemed to be open. Stuck open. Is it stuck open? I wonder. Hey, gets the axe from Shunt anyway. I don't think it's going to be closing at all. Stinger, there's the back lever. Who's he? Who was that in there? With the great curly perm. Great stuff. Stinger spinning. Spikasaurus flipping. He's pointing. He's flipping. Barking. That's what it is. And the Bulldog stands still. Goes to the judges. Splendid entertainment. Not too sure about style and control.
Well, that's definitely going to go to the judges, so let's take another look. It's a unanimous decision. Spikasaurus are eliminated.
Oh, this is going to be a...
Okay, Dave. Lights,
It's very scary in here, I tell you. These things are incredibly painful. I've seen scars everywhere. Lots of cuts, not just the robots that get wounded here. Can you hear that audience cheering for you?
Yes.
Can you hear it?
We've got 50 people out there.
You've got 50 of
We've
your
got
own
50
fans.
people.
Oh.
Where's
Well,
local
that's no-
derby? Because
that's
they're
no
from
pressure.
Lincoln as
Yeah,
well.
the other team, they're friends from Lincoln.
Yes, the friends of ours.
Oh dear.
It's a bit sad.
Well, might have turned the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it should be, but it could always stop.
Look at that. There's some house robots waiting for them. Oh.
Roboteers, stand by.
Here we have Hammer and Tong then. Stuart Smith's a consultant engineer, Paul Schmidt a garage owner, Oliver Smith's at Queen Elizabeth Grammar School. And there's Stinger. One thing that amazes me about Tim Mann and the crew, they've got 50 friends at all.
3, 2, 1.
Only joking, boys. The whole of the village is here, they say. Slower start for Stinger, building up pace. Can get up to 18 miles an hour. Slow revolution. In comes the big axe. Now she described it to us as a narrow-shaped axe. It's a mighty one. Bashes down onto the top of Hammer and Tong. Scavenged the flipper Hammer and Tong from a mate. The spike. Oh, it's been bent, has it? Have to see that again. No, it's okay. Folded back on itself, the spike, as a protection. As it slammed on the arena floor, it's okay. Very unusual robot, super design. Really, the design in this series from all the robots has been so splendid. The sportsmanship, in the pits, out of the pits. The minds that put Stinger together, something else. Bashing down on Hammer and Tong again. Well, it's not a great display of mobility around the arena, is it? Oh! Crunching down on the arena floor, the spike. Underneath, Hammer and Tong comes Stinger. So, attack from the rear. Spinning again, but Hammer and Tong just watches for him to stop. Or maybe attacking, no. Has Hammer and Tong been immobilised here? Immobilised longer than 30 seconds, boys, you're out. Matilda comes in. There's Kill-A-Lot. I think Hammer and Tong, something's gone wrong inside. I think they're immobilised. Kill-A-Lot does too. Look at that. Crumpling, crushing, formidable force from Kill-A-Lot. And Hammer and Tong, all that work that's gone into that robot. Such a shame. But something went wrong with the Eternals, and that was the end of it. It's Stinger that go through. They look pensive, just watching on, but they know really their damage has been done. They know that Hammer and Tong are out of it. Kill-A-Lot, bash, dead metal in the middle. Oh dear. Oh, it makes you weak, doesn't it? Does it? No, not really. If truth be known. In comes Kill-A-Lot. Again with that lance. You see the lance? It can twist and turn and really grind in the guts of a robot. Just held along. Oh! The arena flipper. That's great. I love that. When that happens, over goes Hammer and Tong.
Cease.
And Stinger dancing with delight. There's the bank.
Well, Hammer and Tong just get absolutely hammered. Stinger go through. Come on, lads.
What a backup.
Well, yeah, good battle. Yeah, you acquitted yourselves very well as well. You're fighting Bulldog Breed in the next round, and they've got a flipper, but that shouldn't really bother you, should it?
We had a go with them in the melee, and the flippers tend to just flip one wheel, and it's still there, swinging.
I know, it shouldn't, I mean, you've got no problems there. You're sort of self-righting. You can work on both sides. What is the force of that hammer? It is.
Well, it's
awesome.
about, I don't know, 6 kilograms with a couple of horsepower behind it, and the wheels are 60 kilogram. They're rolling, and they just swing the tail over.
Such an awesome robot. That I think you might go far. Ladies and gentlemen, let's
Thank
hear
you.
it for Stinger!
That was an awesome driving. I take it back about the twitchy controls. And there are the two robots, really, because that's where it's at, isn't it? The two wheels.
This is the main chassis part.
Yeah.
But as you see, there's nothing to it. There's no workings apart from the gear. All the workings are just going to be revealed when he pulls that lid.
Exactly. Now, I'd like to make a suggestion here. If you'd had some barbs on your spike, show us the spike. You could have done more damage, because you're going in and out, you're pulling, but you're not actually You had some nice bulbs. That's what I would have liked.
We could have had bulbs, we could have punctured things, but they can get caught, they can get sort of dug in. And we took the view, we'll just bludgeon things and nothing can grab that. We can't get hooked on a fence on the side or a griddle or something. I mean, OK, it's the sort of a chicken's way of doing it, but
it's the safe way, and it'll get you there, definitely. An awesome robot, you didn't need the bulb.
The same driving arena with them this morning. We were standing next to each other, and now we've got to knock them about.
We've got something to prove, really, because in the last war, Craig said we were drunken drivers, so this year we've got to prove him wrong.
Oh, right. Well, let's see you walk in a straight line. Nah.
We will.
From Warsaw, Bulldog Breed 2. From Lincoln, seed number 30, Stinger.
Stinger has the fan club. Bulldog Breed 2 has the emotional support for Tony Bond.
Overtears, stand by.
Right with the baby June. Here's Stinger, Kevin Scott, Carl Skinner and Tim Mann. Good competitors. Drunken drivers? No. Bulldog Breed 2. Tony Summerfield, Tony Bond, Robert Summerfield there.
3, 2, 1.
14-year-old Robert is the weapons operator for Bulldog Breed 2. And there's Stinger. Just spinning so wildly. Just easily bumping up on the side of the wedge-shaped Bulldog Breed 2 from Warsaw, Stinger from Lincoln. That is a fairly fierce weapon, isn't it? But is there any great control of the weaponry? Does it matter, really? I don't know. It comes slamming in on Bulldog Breed 2. No, veers away in the end. They're a bit tentative here, aren't they? Just feeling each other out. I don't know why. They know all about each other. They fought together against Spikasaurus. That's a bit dangerous, going on the plane pit. Don't forget, inside those rubber tyres, the wheels, all the controls, custom-made wheels on small motorbike wheels, in fact. Up and over, Bulldog Breed 2, using the flipper. Control, style, damage and aggression. Matters in Robot Wars. Very close, this one. That's the Bulldog Breed 2 team we've just seen. Stinger, a side attack on the Bulldog. The jaws of the Bulldog are open. Ah! CO2 being vented there! Bulldog Breed 2, we can see gases coming out again. Seen this earlier in the programme. That's a pressure problem. That'll affect the flipper. Bulldog Breed 2 is in trouble here. Listen to the gas escaping. See the CO2 coming out underneath Bulldog Breed 2. That's such a shame. Stinger looks to be home and hosed here. Oh, that's such a shame. Oh, look at Bulldog Breed 2 now. Smoke, sparks from dead metal. Rotten end to what looked like being a fantastic heat final. Building up nicely. In comes Shant and Matilda now. They have their prey with which to play. Dead metal slicing. There's the Stinger fan club. I want to see the lad with the wig. Well, is it a wig? One wonders. Bulldog Breed about to be chomped. A bone of contention. The Bulldog with the house robots. There's Killalot. It's great when you see Killalot turning and spinning like that, tossing away a robot. Oh, crumpled though, bent and buckled, and in comes Dead Metal again. Question here now of Bulldog Breed 2, counting down the precious seconds to the end of the heat final, just for damage limitation. They know they're beaten up and over. Up and over to whom? To Killalot, of all people. Up and away she goes. And there he waits, in the blink of an eye, a red, horrible eye. And it's all over for Bulldog Breed 2. Stinger is the winner.
Bulldog Breed is in the doghouse. Stinger's through to the series semi-finals.
Not bad for a rabble without a clue, is it?
A rabble without a clue. It is almost indestructible. What do you do to defeat that robot?
Hit it as hard as we can. Hit and run. That's the name of the game.
How do you see a robot that's going to beat you? I mean, what kind of robots are out there that you think, oh, I wouldn't want to come up against that?
Bladey ones are going to have a go at the tyres. There's no question about that.
Yeah, but I can still roll without the tyres,
it don't need tyres now.
No.
They do help, but yeah, the tyres, you're right, flipping us out of the ring, that's going to kill us.
Yeah. Is it difficult to steer? Because sometimes it looks like it's a bit hit and miss, you know?
You got sort of up and down and left and right, and it reverses depending on which way the tail is and which way the wheels are. But it's just practice.
Well, you've certainly got a sting in the tail. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Stinger!
Wired up and fired up in the pits, we have Stinger. This robot is a very interesting one. How it works is that if you put the brakes on, the arm comes slamming down, but if you put it into reverse, you get a serious hit of that, which is going to cause Mousetrap a lot of pain, we hope. Now, what's your strategy against them?
The strategy is it's well built, it's bulletproof, but with bulletproof, the problem is you hit them twice in the same place and you're through. So that's our strategy.
So hit it once and then the material changes sort of composition,
That's right, it deforms, yeah, changes properties. Hit it again and you...
From Lincoln, seed number 30, Stinger.
A spinning, whirling dervish with a narrow axe weapon at the back of the steel shell, mobilised on customised motorbike wheels. The tyres are vulnerable. Top speed of 18 miles an hour, though.
This is the Stinger team. On my left is Carl, my right is Tim, and I'm Kevin Scott, team captain. In the first round, we're up against some friends of ours, Hammer and Tong, with a Perspex top, which was no problems. Second fight was against Bulldog, a flipper robot, and we got right underneath them and ripped them apart.
Next round, we're up against Mousetrap, but we're no mouse.
Roboteers, stand by.
There's Stinger with team captain Kevin Scott there in the middle at the controls, a design engineer, and Mousetrap with Jason Launchbury, a computer engineer for a software company there on the left.
2, 1.
Jason coached by Dad Stan. Just a little bit of a nudge underneath Stinger. In the earlier battles, those Stinger tyres were vulnerable to spikes all around the arena and to an attack. Mousetrap has this punishing 11-kilo force truck weapon coming down there on the spring attack. Again, cocked back to come forward once again. They launch themselves at Stinger. Stinger tends to throw itself around an arena floor and spinning wildly on its side comes down now with that mighty mace-type axe there, crashing down. You can hear it reverberate on the arena floor. What control do the Stinger boys have? We have suspected that from time to time. Lovely to see it dancing and pirouetting, but not greatly effective. And don't forget, as we battle through to our 2 finalists from this second semi-final, the judges could be called in to make decisions, and they will judge on style, control, damage, and aggression. Stinger for me, and Kevin Scott doing all the work. Mousetrap tries to get away, something's come off the side of Mousetrap. I think it's the chain that's used to control the trap weapon. It was damaged in the earlier rounds. You heard Jason talk about it, and I think that the Mousetrap weapon has been immobilised. Certainly, Jason looks perplexed. Just see Stan in the background there, and Mousetrap here, now without the weapon, literally has to use the wedge shape to nudge Stinger in towards a pit or a CPZ, the corner patrol zone, controlled by house robots like Matilda on the top of your picture there, waiting to come out, but this does not look good for Mousetrap. And those earlier victories, Evil Weevil, Something, Little Fly, Tiberius all gone from the earlier heat now mean nothing for Mousetrap as the house robots come in for the kill. That shunt with the axe penetrating the polycarbonate top there of Mousetrap. And that's the end for them. That's kill a lot. You can see the chain split there, completely broken, dangling forlornly. The pit of oblivion descends. A bit of Welsh rare brick first of all, perhaps, for the cheese left in the Mousetrap, which failed to catch Stinger. And the Lincolnshire robot goes through. Mousetrap, I'm afraid, goes to the flames. Once we decide to show a little bit of mercy, Kill-A-Lot will take it ultimately to the pit. Resistance is futile, said one of the banners. And the long run for Mousetrap, brave it has been, ends right there and now.
Cease.
Stinger steals the cheese. Mousetrap eliminated. The Stinger march on. A few more fights and you could be picking up a trophy, lads.
Well, we're doing our best. We're working hard.
It's a very unusual design, but it's a very tidy design, isn't it, the robot?
Yeah, well, it's compact, it's hard to hit.
Yeah.
And it just does the business in true style.
And it hits you really hard as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, brute force and ignorance, 3 design principles, that work really well.
And that really works well for Robot Wars. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause, the Stinger Posse!
Stand by.
Stinger. What can the boys do here? Kevin Scott, Carl Skinner and Tim Mann. Kevin at the controls against Panic Attack with the experienced Kim Davis, his son Michael from Clantarnham Comprehensive. Christian Bridge in that team as well. This for a place in the series final, don't forget. Panic Attack 2. Been there before, of course. Just moving forward, cursory fashion, against Stinger. Stinger with the heavier weighted weapon. Panic Attack of those lifting forks. Didn't get any purchase on Stinger. They have their own fan club, of course. Panic Attack, a little ram against the arena's side wall. Stinger, as they whiz around like that, Stinger, they can get a lot of momentum behind that weapon, and it becomes almost like a pendulum. With force, also with venom. Panic Attack now, moving. Well, I thought to try and get it a broadside perhaps and attack the wheels, flick it up and over, but again, good driving by Stinger and Kevin Scott. This is Panic Attack, trying to use those forks again, look. Stinger moving in a more wild pattern than Panic Attack. Steadier progress by Kim Davis now. In and out of the CPZ very quickly, so Matilda couldn't get any grip on the Welsh robot. Panic Attack seems to have a scheme. Stinger seems to want to swing and spin around to get that axe, as I was mentioning, like a pendulum, coming down with force. Comes down again. Shell steel of Stinger's wheel hubcaps, not bruised in any way, I don't think. Scratch maybe, but not sustaining any real damage. Oh, and did Panic Attack go through with an attack there and just edge into a CPZ? Stinger against the arena side wall. Panic Attack now has gone into the CPZ. Matilda can come out. Grabs hold of Stinger. Stinger thrust back in, almost onto the back of Panic Attack. This is close, and I think this one could well go to the judges, says Kim Davis at controls of Panic Attack, and there's Kevin Scott, you just see him in the controls of Stinger. Again, riding piggyback fashion. Panic Attack doing more of the work now. Aggression, very important. Should it go to the judges? A lick of flame. I haven't seen anyone test those wheels of Stinger on customised motorbike frames. Tap on the top of Panic Attack, rat tap tap. To remind Panic Attack they're still there. It's going to go to the judges. It's close, isn't it? I think they've done enough, just.
Well, should Panic Attack panic? Will Stinger be stung? It's all down to the judges.
For the first time in this semi-final, they're called upon then.
Incredibly, the judges are unanimous, but again, there's only 1 point in it. Remember, they're looking at style, control, damage and aggression. And on aggression, they've gone for Stinger! They're obviously disappointed.
It was a tough call. I wouldn't want to be a judge in that one.
1 point in it. And
It's a shame somebody had to lose, but I'm glad it wasn't us.
you've won a place in the Robot Wars final.
That's what we came for.
And I said to you early on that I believed you could go all the way because it's such a slippery little customer, your robot. So, good luck in the final, lads. Good luck in the final. Let's hear it for the Stinger Posse!
The Stinger team looking pensive. You've had a wonderful history. We've seen the battles that got you here. What do you think is your strength?
Well,
Why are you here?
It's a really strong robot. Nobody seems to be able to touch it. And we got a weapon that hits.
It does too, doesn't it? Now, you're seeded number 30. You've done incredibly well to get here. But now you're up against the number 1 seed. That's got to be pretty nerve-wracking.
Well, he's only got a flipper.
He says that now, doesn't he? He's only got a flipper. He says it now. So what will your tactic be?
We're going to drive straight up, over the flipper, sit on top and thump him in the back.
Excellent.
And avoid getting thrown out of the arena.
Exactly, that's the key thing with Chaos 2, isn't it? And you had some fighting talk you'd like to deliver?
Yeah, it's death or glory time. No surrender, no retreat. We're going for it.
Yes, let's get him in the arena.
From Lincoln, seed number 30, Stinger.
Because of 18 miles an hour top speeds, no one can tag these underdogs. The thumping on the back will come from the pendulum-like swinging axe. Can Chaos 2 penetrate those motors mounted in the wheels?
From Ipswich, seed number 1 and reigning champion, Chaos 2.
Would you believe the champ spent just £250 to build this? Lawnmower motors provide the drive, liquid CO2 from a fire extinguisher provides the power behind the most effective flipper we've seen in these walls.
Roboteers, stand by.
There's the Stinger from Lincoln. Tin Man there on the left had the boast of victory. Niall Skinner and Kevin Scott, his teammates, Chaos 2. With George Francis ever ready at the controls, Ian and Richard Swan. With Richard just 9 years of age. For a place in the grand final against Pussycat. Chaos 2 lining up the flipper immediately to get in underneath the back axle. But Stinger, but that won't worry Stinger. But bounce, spin and come down. Look at the bounce of those customised motorbike wheels. Little damage. You have to get Stinger towards the arena wall, Chaos 2, and get him out of the arena. And also dodge that swinging pendulum axe type mace. Bang and crash. Bash. There's George Francis at the controls of Chaos 2. Little Richard from Castleville Junior School alongside him. And another attack on Stinger. The flipper rises, settles into its mounting. Chaos 2 hops and skips. A little bit of a jump, turns. Stinger also spins. Oh, and there's the power of the weapon. Did you see crashing on the side there of Chaos 2? At the moment, though, polycarbonate and aluminium strong enough, but they've got into a CPZ. That's tough. And I think they might have sustained damage. Have a look at this again. As they go into Stinger here, look, the back plate comes off. That's what Kevin Scott said he'd do. Knock the back plate off, and George Francis now knows that the very innards of Chaos 2 are vulnerable and exposed. They went into the CPZ, which wasn't good control, and also they've left themselves now vulnerable to attack. Surely not another major surprise here. Both the favourites, the seeds, to crash out. Chaos 2 has a lot of work to do, because if this goes to the judges, they will mark on damage, style, control and aggression, and Stinger, very aggressive. Of course the damage. Chaos 2 needs to get in under and have a couple of flips. Again, I wonder how many machines in future wars will copycat the design of Stinger. Chaos 2 has bashed it into the CPZ, and now Dead Metal momentarily had Stinger in its claws. Away goes Stinger. Look at this. This is a good drive here by Chaos 2. Digging in deep. Stinger flicked up into the CPZ. Dead Metal had control. Chaos 2 tried to roll them both out of the arena, and Stinger dug deep with the mace itself. Lives to fight again. Spin Stinger. This is going to be close. I just wonder whether that damage you can see there could be telling as it goes to the judges to decide who leads Pussycat in the grand final of Robot Wars.
Well. What a fantastic battle. Of course, it's going to go to our judges. I wouldn't want to make the decision.
Very tight, wasn't it, Craig? We don't have to make the decision. These boffins do. I can't call it. Chaos 2 starting strongly. Aggressive. Point score. But then sustaining damage there. Stinger suddenly on top. Only for Chaos 2 to finish the stronger. This is very, very close.
You've never had a judge's decision before with your robot, have you?
Very nerve-wracking.
It is nerve-wracking, isn't it? Very tense, sweaty palms. Are you nervous? The judges went with aggression. Both you equal. Style, both you equal. Damage, both you equal. On quality of control, the judges have gone for Chaos 2! took ages making up their minds, but you've done it ever so well. You got so far. Your robot, I thought, was virtually unbeatable unless you could get it out of the ring, and that's what Chaos 2 was trying to do, but it couldn't achieve it. And you're quite tenacious.
We wiggled, we struggled.
You're a slippery set of customers. Have you enjoyed it?
Oh, it's been fantastic.
You're not too disappointed?
We did it for all the roboteers, all the engineers, all the modellers in Lincoln. Lincoln!
There you go. Big up the Lincoln posse. Well, you're not going to get to face Pussycat in the final, but you've done very well getting this far. For the Stinger posse!
Oh well.
Tears in the gears.
Yeah, well, it had to happen sooner or later, didn't it?
Now, what was going through your mind when you were waiting for that judge's decision?
It was just so close. You couldn't imagine which way he was going to go. We thought we'd win on damage because their back plate came off.
And you
Win on the
planned to do that,
judges.
didn't you?
We did, that was the plan. Yeah, get over the back of him, smash his back plate
So that
off.
was good control. What do you think went against you in the judges' minds?
Control, as they said.
Just a little bit more practice on the driving. He's been doing it for a couple of years, and we've been doing it for one.
You've done incredibly well. You've secured third place for yourselves because Hypnodisc aren't here for the playoffs. I mean, it's such an achievement. How do you feel after all that work?
Absolutely on a high.
Yeah.
We're well above cloud 10 and still going.
Yes! And you'll be back for more, we hope.
You bet we will.